Hi, this is Carl's Cousins, and this is a reading question asking us to describe the content of a passage. So for this sort of problem, of course, what you need to do is read the portion of the passage being considered. And since we know that we're going to be describing it, we should make note of what is being talked about, what claims are being made about the subject, and what pieces of evidence are provided to back up that claim. So we read here that we're talking about the fact that our society remains gender biased. We're told that women make 76 cents for every dollar that their male counterparts earn. So this first sentence that I pointed out here would be the claim. Here we have a piece of evidence. And if you've read the passage, what we're talking about is the position of women in society. Women are less competent than men when it comes to math and science is a prevalent belief as well, so that's another piece of evidence. And in other places, elsewhere, we're told women face discrimination that goes far beyond the workplace. In some cultures, adultery in women but not in men is punishable by death. So that's unfair. Women are forced to cover their bodies completely at all times. That's unfair. Education is reserved for males in some countries. That's unfair. And that's the bit of the passage that we're asked to look at. So let's go ahead and consider which of these best fits the answer. So the author here describes ways in which a certain group is oppressed. Well, you know this is the answer, and that's because all of the pieces of evidence that we've looked at back up the claim that our society remains gender biased, but by making each of them, by pointing in the direction that this group is in a lower position, that this group is being oppressed by the other group, such that they make less money, people believe them to be less intelligent. In certain places, the law does not treat them equally to men, punishes them more severely, forces them to cover their bodies completely, and doesn't give them as much access to education. So that's why this is the best answer. But I'm going to go ahead and consider the other answer choices as well. Examples of oppression throughout history. So this is good, except the problem is that throughout history here is an assumption. It turns out a correct assumption since throughout history, for as far as we know, this has been the case. However, we're not really told in this portion anything about history. We're told about now. We're told about the fact that our society remains right now in the present tense in a particular way. None of these pieces of evidence point that way, even though we may know from real life, or we may make an assumption that that is the case. So that's why that's not the best answer. The current state of civil rights in our country. Well, we're also told about different countries. In some cultures, we're told elsewhere. So that doesn't make sense for that reason. The last injustices that need to be rectified before true equality is possible. Well, the point here is that these are pieces of evidence to back up the claim that our society remains gender biased. The point here is not to make a list of the last injustices. This is not a comprehensive list, a list that will contain every single injustice that we need to rectify in order for true equality to be possible. In fact, I would assume, and the passage leads us to assume, in fact, that there are many others that she's not mentioning. So these aren't the last ones. There might be many more, in fact, that aren't there. So that's why this isn't the right answer. And this last option, what might happen if discrimination against women is ignored, is a misunderstanding of where she's going. She's saying that that is the case already. It remains this way. This is what happens today. So that's why that's not the right answer either. I hope that this explains why A is the right answer for this problem. Happy prepping!